It is clear that our economic strategies are producing results. We have had to work hard to make our government more accessible and work better for our citizens. Through our programs like our Transforming Neighborhoods initiative, which is hard to believe will be 4 years old next month, we focus our county resources on reducing crime, removing blight, attracting jobs, improving health care options, delivering more effective human services, and yes, enhancing our educational outcomes. And we are making progress. None of this would have been possible without the leadership from our financial team. I want to take this time to personally thank Thomas Himmler, my DCAO for Budget, Finance, and Administration, and Terry Bacote Charles, our Director of Management and Budget, for guiding us through this process once again this year. Their leadership is the reason why we have successfully balanced our budgets year after year, and why, more importantly, we have maintained our AAA bond rating. Can you help me please give them a round of applause? Thomas is always excited about this time of year. So today, after months of meeting with department heads and talking to residents and businesses around the county, I am pleased to submit my proposed operating and capital budget for fiscal year 2017. Now, I know everybody wants to get into the meat and potatoes of what this means for each and every one of you, especially department heads and our school system. Although we continue to face economic challenges, we remain committed to building upon the momentum that we have gained from our strategic investments in our priorities, while adhering to sound fiscal management. This year, we experienced the smallest budget deficit that I have faced since I have been county executive. I have been waiting 5 years for this to happen. This is the smallest, $64 million budget deficit. This made balancing our budget less challenging, not that it was challenge-free, but less challenging than in the past. But I want you to be mindful that the discipline that we employed back in 2012 to focus our budget on 7 key service areas which have served us well in this county, we will continue to do that. Those priority areas are a thriving economy, an excellent education system, safe neighborhoods, quality health care, effective human services, a clean and sustainable economy and environment, and a high-performance government operations. They are the hallmark of what we focus on in the past, and they will be the things that we focus on throughout the Baker administration. So now, this year's budget. The operating funds for the county are $3.7 billion. This is an increase of $161 million, or 4.5% over FY 2016. The county's revenues increased by $97 million, or 5.7%. This growth is primarily driven by the anticipated increases in both the income tax receipts and the property transaction tax receipts, as well as the expected revenue gains we will see from the mid-year opening of the MGM National Harbor. Overall, the FY 2017 General Fund forecast represents an increase of $158 million, or 5.4% over FY 2016 budget. The proposed general fund budget for 2017 includes $1.8 billion in county sources and $1.3 billion in outside aid. Our economic development. Our commitment to growing our economy and our commercial tax base is paying dividends. Our work over the last 5 years has led to 7,400 more jobs than in 2010, $1 billion more in wages for our residents than in 2010, a $3 billion increase in real property assessed values since 2011, a 37% decrease in the county's unemployment rate since 2010, 11,800 fewer unemployed residents of Prince George's County than since December of 2010, and 22,400 more residents with jobs than in December of 2010. These trends are a reflection of the economic strategies that we have put in place and have guided my administration from day one. So let me share some of the highlights of our 2017 budget and the proposed investments we want to make. We will continue our economic development by focusing on communities for redevelopment like the new Suitland Town Center, as well as investing $20 million in additional property acquisition in the Suitland-Naylor Road area. We will also invest and start the redevelopment of the Glenarden Apartments. These will help move the county forward so that every part of our great county shares in the economic development. We have made tremendous strides in improving our permitting process, which is critical to business development, since we created DPI. But I believe that we can do more. That is why in fiscal 2017 budget, we will include funding for the implementation of a new permitting system. In addition, we're including funding to fill 26 vacant positions over at DPI. This will provide more resources for DPI to improve our inspections, permit review, and other aspects of the permitting process. These are the type of investments we need to make to support the billions of dollars in projects that are currently in our pipeline in Prince George's County, and to ensure that we continue to grow. Education. Last year, I don't know if anybody remembers, but I proposed a significant tax increase that would have injected much needed dollars into our education system. And I want you to know that I remain committed to making sure that our schools are among the best in the state and the nation. And that as long as I'm county executive, I will not waver from that one bit. I want our schools to become, and they should be, our calling card. That is what we should be known by. I'm sorry, I was looking for the note here that said I was proposing an attack. I'm sorry. Now, before you get nervous, and my staff starts running for the door, I'm not proposing a tax increase this year. But I do want Dr. Maxwell to know, and the people of Prince George's County to know, that if we are to improve our school system, we are the ones who must invest in ourselves. We are the ones who must save ourselves. But I do want Dr. Maxwell and the Board of Education to know that this year's budget will invest more into education. The 2017 budget supports our goal of building an excellent school system, and it calls for $1.9 billion in funding for the Board of Education. This is an increase of $93 million over the FY 2016 budget. The funding for the Board of Education constitutes 62% of the general funding, the general funds for our budget. And the county's contribution for FY 2017 will rise from $669 million to $700 million. That is a $31 million more in FY 2017 than we had last year. I want to thank Dr. Maxwell and his team. We know that this funding will go to support achievements by expanding or enhancing effective programs that they have already started. Proven programs like our pre-kindergarten, our secondary school reform, our talented and gifted program, as well as our college and career readiness. With rising graduation rates, improved programming, and a growing student population, yes, we are making progress. But we are not making progress fast enough. In this county, in this government, we have to have a conversation to figure out just how we increase funding for our public school system. This is a critical issue that we need to talk about and we need to solve together. In the area of higher education, I am proposing the inclusion of $106 million in the operating budget for Prince George's County's Community College. This proposed budget supports the expansion of the dual enrollment partnership with our public schools by adding satellite locations at Oxon Hill and High Point High School. The additional funding will also create a new support partnership with Prince George's County Public Schools. This program will provide academic coaches from the community college for students in 10 of our high schools around the county. I am confident that this investment in our schools and our community college will help to advance the county's education system and improve education overall for Prince George's County. Now, another entity that is critical to our education of all of our residents in Prince George's County is our library system. That is why in this year's proposed budget, I am putting $27.2 million into the Prince George's County Memorial Library System. That is an increase of 2.6%. The proposed budget maintains the current operating hours at all of our branches, but it also expands into something new. It expands into the library's online offering of a new career high school diploma program that will help millions of people in the county get their high school diploma. And we're excited about that program. In the area of public safety, there's probably no other area where we've seen a greater movement forward in the county. Yes, we have made tremendous strides in reducing crime and saving lives. But we must continue to invest in order to sustain that progress. That is why this year's budget, we will have 3 new police classes that will add 150 new officers to our police department. We are also providing 15 additional crossing guards to ensure the safety of our young people when they go back and forth from our schools. We must also make investments in protecting our homes and our families from fires and other emergencies. As a result, this budget includes 2 new recruit classes that will add 70 new fire and EMS personnel. We are also including operational funds for our volunteer firefighting companies. Now, I often say this, and I'm happy to say this in public, about how important the Office of the Sheriff has been to the progress we've made in public safety. And I know in the past we haven't been able to give the sheriff the things that he's asked for because of budget restraints. That is why I'm pleased to announce today that this budget includes 25 new deputy sheriffs as well as additional security officers to enhance the court security and reduce outstanding warrants. And if we can give the sheriff a round of applause, he's done a great job. Now, our individuals at our Department of Correction, Mary Lou, we want you to know that we're not forgetting about you. We will provide funding for 3 new classes that will bring on a total of 105 new officers at our Department of Corrections. In our hard-charging State's Attorney's Office, this proposed budget for her office is $16.6 million. This will include additional funding to fill 3 assistant state's attorney vacancies that she desperately needs, so she can continue the great work that she's doing. And under public safety, last but certainly not least, the Office of Homeland Security. They will receive funding to fill vacancies for dispatchers and 911 operator positions. Our Health and Human Services. The health of our residents is critical to the welfare of our community. Over the last few years, domestic violence and family violence have become a growing issue in our county. A couple of weeks back when we were doing our monthly crime briefing, we talked about the trend around domestic violence and the number of homicides in this early year that were related to domestic and family violence. And at that time when we were having the conversation, part of it was, do we need to add more money to our police department? Do we need to add more money to the state's attorney's office? But what we decided was we need to stop it before it occurs. And the only way to do that, especially since we saw what happened this past week, is to invest in our human and social services. That is why, to deal with this challenge, we are including $1 million for domestic violence intervention program in the budget. This funding will create a program that will support domestic violence awareness and prevention in partnership with our surrounding apartment communities and domestic violence advocates. We believe this innovative approach will help to minimize domestic and family conflicts. We are committed to doing everything we can to stop these tragedies from happening. And that is why we hope this approach is just a beginning step of us doing that. As many of you know, access to quality health care has been a priority of this administration from the very beginning, and it remains among our highest priorities. And if you listen to me for any length of time over the last month, you know that I have been fighting in Annapolis to make sure that we have funding for our hospital. It is very important to us, and this budget reflects it. That is why I'm including in this budget the county's portion for the money for our hospital system. $15 million in this budget will go toward the operation budget for Dimensions Healthcare System. We in the county are going to do our part, but we're also going to make sure that our partners in Annapolis do their part. The health care of the citizens of Prince George's County is not just the responsibility of the Prince George's County government. It is the responsibility of the state. We are not just citizens of Prince George's County and residents of this county. We're residents of the state. And we're going to make sure we do our part, and we're going to hold our partners accountable, because it's critically important. The environment. A clean and sustainable environment has been a priority of this administration from the very beginning. In fact, we have made tremendous progress this year in recording improvements in recycling. I don't know if he's here, but can we give Director Adam Ortiz a round of applause? I think because of the work they're doing over there, he's been to the White House more than anybody in the administration. But we are pleased that the proposed budget provides funding or provides the overhaul of our trash collection efforts, moving us to a once-a-week trash collection. Now, this idea we actually got from a resident in Prince George's County at one of our budget hearings. So this is a good thing to tell people. We do listen to you when we're out there. And this idea will put us in line with our surrounding counties who have been doing this for years. It will also save $6 million annually and further promote recycling. In addition, the budget will provide enhanced street sweeping and litter reduction. Government operations. Since I've taken office, I've asked the employees of Prince George's County to do more with less. I've asked them to work harder, smarter, and to be innovative. I've asked them to take on tasks with our Transforming Neighborhoods initiative and to do it with little or no compensation or increase. I personally want to applaud them for making a sacrifice and continuing to serve the people of Prince George's County. And I know that they are very thrilled to hear my words saying that we thank them. But I think they might be a little more pleased with the fact this year, for the first time as county executive, I will include in my budget merit increases for county employees. This is long overdue, and it's well deserved. This is a small way that we can say thank you to those men and women who work very hard and on the front line of our government. I want to thank them for their patience, support, and commitment. This county would not be where we are today if it had not been, or if it's not for the work that they do each and every day. So I hope this increase goes a little way, just a little, in telling them how much we appreciate their hard work. So these are the highlights of my proposed budget for 2017. You know, I can't help but smile because there really is nothing that dramatic or controversial about this. It is the first time we've dealt with the lowest gap since I've been county executive. There's a quote, and people know I like quotes, especially if they're from John F. Kennedy. And it goes, "Effort and courage are not enough without purpose and direction." This budget is a result of purpose and direction that my administration has put in place from the very beginning. It is why I am confident that with these priorities that we have outlined, we will continue to see our investments pay off for the citizens of Prince George's County. And it is why I'm always confident to say that we are the place to be, the economic engine of the Washington region, and I would dare say, the state of Maryland. God bless you, and thank you.
All right, questions? Brianne, Darcy, Emily, Will, Ms. Hernandez. Wow. You know,
Just
good.
one.
What good? Will. Sorry.
Could you talk about the merit increases a little bit, full-time employees?
Thomas? I like saying that.
Well, what we've added is a 3.5% merit on average. We'll be negotiating with most of our unions over the next several months, but there's a placeholder that's roughly $10 million for our employees.
That's across the board.
Yeah, it's across the board. Most of our, 80% of our employees are in bargaining groups that we have to negotiate with, but there's a placeholder for those negotiations. But on average, it's 3.5%.
Going once, going twice.
Ms. Hernandez.
What's her name?
Baker, are you including your projections, monies or revenues from the MGM Casino project? When you say mid-year opening, when do you expect this casino to open? We're hearing that it might not open on time.
Depends on what you mean by on time.
What is mid-year opening for you?
Mid-year opening for us, Thomas, is
I mean, what we've included, Arelis, is essentially a half-year opening. So the projections that's in the budget, which is almost $19 million, assume a middle-of-the-year opening. So,
When's middle of the
so
year?
December, roughly, yeah.
With that here. If you talk about the $1 million investment regarding the
domestic violence.
domestic violence program.
Yeah, I mean, the conversation we had was, and I think this bears it out this week, is a lot of the incidents we see around domestic violence that are happening, they're happening in some of our apartment communities. And so at the meeting was, how do we put money into our family services and our social services so that we can begin to maybe head off this from happening, where there may be problems in the families that we don't see, that aren't reported to our police department. And so what we want to do with that money is to work with family services, social services, our health department, but also with our apartment communities, which are excited. We met with AOBA, our apartment group. They're excited about this program. They think it's necessary. But also with domestic violence groups from around the county and the state to help advocate and make sure we're on top of this. We've seen an increase in the county. I know the state's attorney and the sheriff's department have done a tremendous job out there on the front line, as well as our police department, our health. But we want to do more. We think this is the right investment into dealing with this issue.
All right,
Good.
thank you, everyone.
Thank you.